Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Good afternoon to those in the UK. And the beautiful concept of rotation continues. Hey, Raj, how you doing? Yeah, Globex was good. I'm really quite pleased with the old Globex. You know, it worked nice. I was talking about trading this back and forth, and then, we took that, sold it, brought it right back, put it on sale right to where we bought it, straight back up. And for all of you on longer time frames, we did a look below and fail of 73.91. We did a look above and fail of 75.11. Right? So these big levels, those are your targets if you're a longer time frame trader. Hey, Flex, what's going on? Good morning. Welcome to everyone. I'm JJ. This is the Trading Syndicate. This concept is called rotation. Okay? So what you do is you find a nice zone, right? And then the rotations from the zone, when it does this, you go long here and you sell into the strength. When it does this and comes in, you short here and you cover into the weakness. Now, the nice thing about this kind of trading is your risk, right? So what you can do is you can go long, say 7,400, put your stop at 91, and carry that trade and sell into strength. You can short 7,500, put your stop at 11, and cover into that weakness. These rotations are beautiful because what they do is they allow you to manage risk, and you just trade this, right, on a longer time frame. And I'm going to show you that trade is the same trade that you can learn on a 1-minute candle chart. And today's rotations were beautiful. So if we don't take out 73.91 today and this week, we're going to rotate back up to 75.11. Okay? And we're already at 74.36. So if you positioned yourself here, or even if you positioned yourself around 7,400, 7,410, there's a nice 20, 30 points of upside. And I call out those, like that trade, we were working on that trade at 2 o'clock in the morning UK time, right? So let's go take a look at where we are here. We're starting to fill those singles. That's good. A little liquidation. So I had a big balance zone this morning, right? And this balance zone paid, man. It paid really nice. So what we did was we just traded this back and forth. Then we took that, sold it. When we put it on sale, look at where it came, right to the middle of balance. Cut the sell, ripped it higher, right? And I told you guys that what we're going to do is we're going to take this cheap stuff here, sell it higher, give it a little sale. This little sale brings the people in, right? And when they come in, boom, go sideways, keep price stable. That stability brings in buyers. It's a beautiful thing. Commerce is a wonderful thing, and this is a beautiful sales chart this morning that shows you exactly what's going on in a market. So you don't need DOMs and footprints and delta and schmelta and gefelta and all of that stuff. You don't need any of that. All you need is the ability to pay attention and to not take knucklehead trades or you wait for an edge. What's that edge? Right? The edge is to look below and fail. Right? You know, there it is. And you take it and if it doesn't hit the next level, get out. Eventually it'll go, right? Especially if the inventory's underneath you, right? So overnight inventory was short. It is now adjusted. Let's see if we can take that point of control. Now, what a coincidence, eh? The point of control for the overnight is 73.91 and a quarter. And it's 3,000, how many? 3,006 contracts. So let's see if we can take that. And can we suck people into buying 3,000 contracts up here? And that's going to shift the cost basis up. Thank you for bringing that up, Travis. So folks who are thinking about joining our room, we also have a trading contest right now going on, right? And I think it's a good way for people to come in and see, it's a low cost way to trade under pressure for real money. It's a good way to build up your account. And if you lose, it's so much better than blowing your personal trading account, right? So that's a good thing, right? The room is discounted right now, right? That was a beautiful cost basis. Tonight or the Globex session was probably one of the most clear examples of cost basis. If you looked at a textbook or in the encyclopedia and you asked what a cost basis is, it's there. You add liquidation into a cost basis, sell it 2 times profit, put it on sale right back to cost basis, and then boom, straight up. There you go, Travis, right? Well done. Our room is probably the closest thing you can get for free, right? And really the only reason why we charge is to keep the derelicts out, the people who just come in to like plant viruses and stuff. Hey, Mike, good morning. Right? That's really the only reason why we charge, right? If we did it for free, you'd get every wing nut, I remember I was in a free room once and the people were like, you'd get people coming in, they were trading drunk, and you'd be like, oh, it was just a nightmare. So it kind of keeps that element out, right? It's like a little bit like a cover charge, right? You know? Exactly, right? I mean, we had 2 members last week win 900 and 300 bucks respectively, right? And a few others with $100 here and there. It's not bad for a $10 entry fee, right? Skills-based trading works here. LC, what's up? How are you, brother? Good to see you. So, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? I think it's gonna be a little choppy and sideways here. And I think we're gonna try and sell as many contracts as we can over 74.35, right? I think we're going to try and sell as much as we can over 74.35. Good price action, great zones. You know, let's hope the second part of this month gives us some nice trades. You guys notice how much better markets trade after a liquidation? Eh? You know, if this kind of stuff continues, oh, it's a pain. But you get a nice liquidation, you get some beautiful opportunities. I think shorts are trapped under that old overnight high and underneath the close, who was asking. So these will be places where we should look for buying as we come down and tickle them. Let's go see. So there's the old overnight high. And this is where the shorts are trapped right now. So the market is bid, 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 bid here, right? So let's see if it holds 74.35. If that breaks, we're going to look for Friday low, okay? So right now the position's at 91. We're selling it up here at 74.38. Beautiful, beautiful distribution, right? You know, imagine being long 10,000 contracts between 90 and 7,400, and you're just selling them here. It's just wonderful. Now, remember, we want to use these levels, right? If you're bullish, right? Sorry, I always laugh at the word bullish and bearish because after 9/11, I had to work in a phone because after 9/11, my boss got arrested for trading for the mob. So nobody would hire me because they thought I was dirty. And I had to run a boiler room for a promoter who looked like Colonel Sanders. And there was this crazy guy in there. We called him Murdoch. And Murdoch would always go, "This is JB Murdoch, and the B stands for bullish." The B stands for bullish. Oh man, he was a character. He was a good salesman. So you see how we're bidding? You see how we come down there and it's bid? That's because the shorts are trapped here. Trapped shorts are buy orders. Now let's see if that holds. I use the 1 minute chart to take trades because I can see exactly where the sellers are on a minute by minute instance. Right, so right now I know the sellers are here. So if we get above 74.40, see how the sellers are right there? The sellers, where the top of the candle is where the sellers initiate. How do I know this? Because I've sold more stock. You know how McDonald's says billions and billions served? For me, it's billions and billions sold, right? I've sold an insane amount of stock in my lifetime for my clients. So when you sell a lot, you understand the mechanics of distribution. Now let's see. We're looking for the bid, right? We're looking for the bid. Now Friday's position, the cost basis is centered around 74.33, 32 and a half, right? That's what they call that's what market profile people call the point of control. It's where 70% of your cost basis is priced. But they don't tell you that. They talk about value and fair pricing and all this stuff, which is really confusing and impossible to trade. So what I like to do is I like to take market profile and I like to make it practical for regular folk, right? Who don't have stats degrees, right? Now, The reason why we're dropping down like this is because the cost basis is underneath us at 73.91. So the large sellers can sell this thing all the way down and still make money. Right now there's competition. You can see them competing, right? They were selling at 40 and a half. Now they're selling at 39. When this next candle opens up, look for the top of this candle, and it'll tell you where the sellers have moved down to. See? Simple. So if you were shorting that 40, 44 area, you want to go and put some bids just right here. See this area right here? See how it's bid right here? Size is going to break that. Right? So if you're short, cover a little here, and then go and put some buy orders just right underneath, like here, here, and here. And if those buy orders don't get filled, then you can go and take the offer, right? If your buy orders get filled, you can stay short. Simple, simple, right? There's no need to overcomplicate this. Life is difficult enough as it is, right? There's no need to overcomplicate this stuff, right? You look where the sellers are and you sell with them. When they stop selling, you cover, right? That's all that's trading, right? So remember I said there are going to be some bids here, they're here, but let's see if size overwhelms. If the sellers need to compete, they're going to take out that 26 level. Where is it? Yeah. See the bottom of that green candle right here? They'll take that out, right? They won't if they don't have to. See? Because the people who are short here, they're going to come and put their bids there. So say you were short 40, 36, you're covering here, right? It's a two-sided market, my friends. Selling is healthy. Now, I'm a look below and fail trader. So the trade, I'm not short. The trade I'm looking for is the look below and fail of 74.18. Let's see if we get it. Now, when you get a green candle after a liquidation, what you should be thinking is, where are these bastards going to sell into it? When you see a green candle, you go and you look for the top of that candle. Why? Because now, if you do this look below and fail of 18, say I buy 20, I know there's going to be a seller at 24 and a half. So I can clip in and out for a couple of points, right? Let's see if we get some stability here. Let's see where they sell into it, okay? If you're not short, just be patient. Don't worry. It's all going to come together. It's the first half hour of a new week. Just relax. See how the sellers are selling right where there were bids before? So all these people above this blue line are trapped long, right? And they're selling. And the people who own it at 73.91 are going to outcompete them because their cost basis is lower. He who has the lowest cost basis has already won, right? So I'm just chilling and waiting to see what we do when we get down to 18, right? Do we do a look below and fail? Do we do a look below, tag VWAP, and then come back up? Or do we continue back down? So that's what's going through my head. And I had a couple of really nice trades in Globex. So what that does is when you trade Globex and you make a little bit of scratch, right? Then you don't have to bum rush the open. A lot of people rush into the open like chickens with their heads cut off and they don't know what they're doing. When you make a little bit of money in Globex, what it does is it takes the pressure off trading the open. So you can actually sit and watch. And when you sit and watch a market without a position on, guess what happens? You actually absorb information. So because if I was long here and the market's going down, all I'm thinking about is my long. If I'm short here, that's okay, it worked. But I always like to wait, watch a market open, and then see how it reacts, right? So what I'm seeing is, are we going to go sideways here? Do we take out 74.30? Do you see how there's still a seller there? Right, so just be patient, right? It's not like the market's going to close in the next half hour and move to the next city. We might go sideways a little bit here. We know where the bid is, right? The bids are here. Because VWAP is here, the close is also here at 18. So there are buy orders here. Did you guys know support is created by unfilled buy orders? That's what creates support. Little chop here. Let's see what happens. So the seller has moved down now from 30 to 28, right? So if you're short, your stop is 30. So if you initiate short here, your stop is here. Because if we take out 30, then we're going to 31 and then 33.87, right? 33.80, that 34. This way you have some sort of intelligence when you are trading. You know, don't be afraid to just sit and watch, right? You may think you're missing out, but what you're really missing out on is getting stopped out, losing money, and having a mental breakdown, right? And it's okay to miss out on those things, right? A lot of people rush into a market, you know, and they even have a term for it now, this FOMO nonsense, right? People say FOMO. When I first started, I thought FOMO was a stock symbol. They'd go, JJ, what about FOMO? I'd type it in. I'm like, symbol not found, man. There's no symbol for FOMO. And they said, fear of missing out. And I'm like, fear of missing out on? What are you missing out on? You're not missing out on anything. What you're missing out on is losing money, getting stopped out, getting frustrated, having a little hissy fit. You know, that's what you're missing out. You're missing out on all the bad stuff by being patient, right? Walk down. I'm just chilling. I'm waiting for that look below and fail of 18.5, right? If it doesn't happen, no big deal, right? I gotta wait for the market to tell me what direction to trade and how to trade. How I do that is I have a business setup, which is a clearly defined planning where my risk is managed. Because risk management, as boring as it sounds, is the most important thing in retail trading because you guys don't have unlimited money, right? Retail traders are not allowed, you don't have the luxury of being offside 50 grand in a position because you're not managing $200 million, right? Let's see if that 30 seller is still there. Right, so you got to save your bullets. You got to be smart. You got to be crafty. You got to be smarter than the average bear, right? So you have to sit and wait for your opportunity, right? See, they let it breathe a little bit over 30, but they stepped in again, right? Okay, that's cool, right? Let them do their thing, right? Yeah, down 50 million and still unemployed, and still employed, or 50,000. Yeah. You know, that is a luxury. It's a luxury we do not have. That's why I teach my traders to be savagely cheap. And as R. Croy says, you have to be very, very picky about where you do business on the chart. You got to be a little bit of a snob, right? Somebody comes up with you with this idea. Hey, I think we should buy this. You know, this is bullish or bearish or raccoonish or, you know, this is the beaver pattern, right? Yeah, maybe I'll wait. right? Be picky, right? Be a snob. Crushed it on Google calls. Good stuff. Only do business at prime locations. Listen, it's your money. Would you rather go shopping in Beverly Hills, where a very pretty sales girl brings you an espresso and you sit in a nice leather chair and they're very nice to you? Or do you want to go shopping in the hood where you get rolled and they steal your wallet, beat the crap out of you and toss you in a dumpster? It's up to you. Do you want to take dumpster trades? Or do you want to do like, you know, nice price action, nice trades that are actually going to make you money, right? Don't do dumpster trades, right? Yeah, if you want to go in the hood, that's great. Just let us know. We'll film you getting beat up and put it on YouTube. It'll go viral. There we go. Now it looks like we found that bit, huh? Exactly. I was watching Beverly Hills Cop. Espresso with the lemon twist. So if you are buying the long here, right? You know there's a seller at 30, right? Uh, I saw a little flash of price action, and that's going to suck a lot of people into buying. And those people who are long 27, 28, now they're getting the boots put to their head, right? Because they're 4 points under now. They saw that flash, they jumped in to buy it, and boom, we shanked them. That's why it's always good to just wait for the edge, right? Just wait for the edge. Here it comes. Take your time. Just relax. Here we go. It's all those people who rushed in and bought when they saw that 26.27. They all are just getting just creamed right now, right? See, now watch. Now it looked below. Wait 30 seconds and see whether or not that market holds 18 and a half. Wait to buy 2021, sell them at 24. And there you go. Long 20, selling 24. Got a couple left, selling 25. Still long 21 and a quarter. Flat. Done. Long 20, 21, up to 24, 25. 4 points on 8 E-minis. And I'm done for the day. I told you about that trade. I told you to wait for it, right? There you go. Nice, right? Make 15, 1600 bucks and you're done, right? That's all you got to do. You don't have to kill yourself. All you got to do is wait. We told you to wait, right? Nice work, Matt. And you know where the seller, you know that those rat bastards are going to sell the 26s, right? So you buy a little at 20, you buy a little at 21. I bought 4 and 4 and then just sold them 2 at a time. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you. Right? It's nice having you guys with us, our gardens, right? Now, Doesn't this beat having your hair fall out waiting for a 30-point trade? And this is why they teach you to be patient. But if you tell people to be patient, they hate it. They hate being told to be patient. But what we tell them is we tell them to be snooty and wait for the best business. And that look below and fail trade, right? Yeah, I know I lost quite a bit of hair too, but I don't think that was the market. That was bad business deals. Oh man. Now, last time we had a seller at 31 and up here at 34, right? That's what yeah, you lose your hair. That's what you get for having partners that are like high functioning sociopaths. Yeah, exactly, Raj. Couldn't tag VWAP, right? That was a little bit of a, that was a little bit of sign, right? And that's where we took that rotation up. Right, and this is what I'm trying to do every day is, when I was an institutional trader, I never met any retail traders, right? They were just nameless, faceless bids that I filled every day. I had no idea. After my heart attack and I started teaching people, regular people, I realized that, holy cow, there's a lot of like really nice regular people who are just getting bad information and losing money, and getting sick because of it, because the stress in this business. I mean, I had a quintuple bypass at 44. I don't wish that on anybody, right? I talk to traders who, you know, they've taken out credit lines and lost their houses and haven't told their spouses that they've lost hundreds of thousands of. The stress of that, don't go for it, folks. Learn how to make a few simple trades, make a couple of $100 a day. It adds up, and then you can build off of that. But just be methodical and be consistent. Everybody wants financial security, right? The only problem is there's a whole group of people out there, and these rat bastards know that you guys want financial security, and they're there to take advantage of it, to sell you software that you don't need, to sell you courses that don't work, to talk about, I remember when I started futures trading, there was this one guy, and he was an ex-floor trader, and he charged people $1,500 or $2,000 for a 2-day course, and they had to fly to his city and pay for their hotel and stuff. Now we're going to take this cheap crap that we bought here, and we're going to sell it here. So these places are where you're going to find where they sell into it. And he told traders, you know what? You got to lose $300 a day, right? I'm like, well, how many days are you going to lose $300 for before you run out of money? You know? Market makers actually don't take advantage of anything anymore, our gardens. Market making is completely automated now. So all they're doing is providing liquidity. So in the old days, in the like 90s, right? In the late 80s and the early 90s, when they had independent market makers, they used to have predatory market makers, and they would stop hunt and all that stuff. But now these big firms, everything is algo driven, right? So all they do is they just match order flow and take the spread, right? Now there are some large, very, very ruthless prop traders, who are trading 8, 9, 10 figure accounts, right? And they're predatory. You'll see them come in with the big green candles and the big red candles when they rip it. But generally, right, those manipulative markets that used to exist when I was around and on desk, it's really not around anymore. And unfortunately, and I know this sounds really bad, you really don't have to manipulate markets very much when people don't know what they're doing. When people don't know what they're doing, you don't really need to manipulate markets. They'll lose money without it, right? I don't know about them not wanting to pay out calls and puts. That I do not know. I don't trade options. You know, I used to drink with a couple of options market makers, but that was back in the 90s, and we never really talked business. So there's that bid. Next seller is going to be just up here, just around 40, 74.46 7. There they are, right there. There's your seller. See how I marked it? They sold here, they will sell there again. Why? Because they have size, right? Nice trading this morning. Really decent price action, decent. You know, if you're wondering where the shorts are trapped, the shorts are trapped under 74.30. So if we ever get back down to the 74 where that blue line is, if we get around that area, that's where you'll look for bids. Now let's see where the next rotation is. I don't keep runners, R. Guddens. I am lately I don't do that in these ranges. I just like to get in and out. The reason is because my attention span these days is not as good as it used to be. So I like to take profits and be done with it and wait for the next trade. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping a runner and placing a stop, right? Nothing wrong at all with that. Just use the levels, you know, to place your stops intelligently. I just like to sell into strength, right? It's what I've been trained to do, and I like to trade at the edge. If I was doing nothing but trading and I didn't have to talk to anyone, and if I could concentrate, I think also if I was a little younger, I might hold runners. But because this market has very big ranges, I like to get in and out. But that's just me, right? So if you've got a lot of time and you've got a good intention span and your focus and your concentration is good, right? Please do keep runners. And we do teach people how to do that. A lot of the times in this market, like today, we had a beautiful move off the 30s all the way up to 48. Lately, we've had a lot of choppiness and moves that come back on you. So that's why I generally don't hold runners. And I got to say, today I'm not as dialed in as I should be because I've got a million things going on at home. You know, so I have to modify my trading for my. I know it sounds like a cop out, but I really do have to modify my trading for my attention span. You know, I'm an old fart now. Nice little run over the overnight high. Now, if we accept over the overnight high, your upper stops are just under 59 and 60 there, right? And this back and forth motion, what this does, it does two things. Number one, it took all these people, flushed them into wholesale positions. So it took all that inventory out. And then it also created a bunch of people short under 31 who are pushing price up. So now instead of just one set of buyers, you've got two or three sets of buyers, right? You get the FOMO longs. Everybody comes, everybody comes to the party. So a little bit of a look above and fail of the overnight high. If you shorted the 53s, I'd put some bids down at 48 and see if you get filled. Right? So if you don't fill the 48s or the 47 and 3/4, take the offer. Right? You can actually be pretty much, considering today's trading, just you can actually you could do like a week's worth in it in a day. Right? Friday was good. Today was decent. And that's good, you know. Markets have been really crappy for a while, so it's good to. There you go. Yeah, way to go, Raj. You're done for the week. Isn't that nice? So you make your money, and now all you have to do is concentrate on not losing any money, right? Right. Because we want you to make money, but we also want you to keep it, right? So once you've made a good score, right, don't give it back, right? If you made $1,000 this morning, you should not lose more than 100. Don't give back more than 10%, right? Because really, right, to be successful in this business, you have to be a ruthless, greedy bastard, right? Don't be a nice person when it comes to your money. You worked your ass off for your money. You spent hours and weeks and months and sometimes even years trying to figure out this stupid business, right? You've spent, exhausted yourself. Be ruthless with the money, right? Don't give it back. Don't give it back, right? Be like my old boss who was worth $600 million and charged us for coffee at the brokerage firm. That old bastard, he charged us for coffee, for Staples, for photocopying. And we made him 250 grand a month like clockwork, and he still charged us for coffees. No free parking, no nothing. You pay. Right? He was long-term greedy. And that's what I want you guys to learn. Right? Be long-term greedy. Don't give back your money. Right? Take what you can and give nothing back. Nothing. Don't give a cent back to these bastards. Take it all and give nothing back. Right? Because the people you're trading against, they'll harvest your organs and sell them and you won't even know it. And they'll do it with a smile on their face. Don't give them back a cent. Right? Make your money and keep it. This is the only business where somebody makes $10 million in a week and stiffs the guy $2,000 who's painted his fence. I had one of those clients. He made it was $6 or $10 million in 5 days by selling stock. And the guy who was painting his fence, he owed him like $1,600 and he stiffed him, right? I just read about one of my ex-clients in the paper. I won't say his name. But last year, he hired this poor lady to do admin work for him. And excuse my language, this motherfucker, I know he's got hundreds of millions of dollars offshore because I helped him make it. And he owes the poor girl $6,000. And he stiffed her. And he's got hundreds of millions of dollars offshore. These people are ruthless, man. We're coming right back into that cost base. Look for those bids. Remember here? So that you don't give back. anything. You take their money and you just keep it. Okay? Can you imagine? You have $100 million, you know, sitting in the Caribbean, and you stiff some poor 20-year-old kid $6,000 and they get evicted from their apartment. These are the kind of people you're trading against, right? Don't give them a frickin' cent. You keep your money. You guys got that? You be ruthless, my friends. Be ruthless, right? These bastards will sell you. They'll send you COD. They'll sell your mom and they'll send your mom cash on delivery, right? They're ruthless, right? And you're in their playground. So you take their money and you run, okay? See, I told you there'd be bids here at 30. See how we came right down to where that blue line was? Why? Because that's where the position is, right? I will teach you guys the business. I will teach you guys how to steal money from these bastards and secure your financial freedom. All you got to do is not show your hand and don't leave your hand in the cookie jar too long. Because as soon as you get greedy, they can feel it and they'll come for you, right? Now let's see if we can hold that 18 again. That's my ultimate target on the downside, right? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I Googled the guy. It's just, you got $100 million sitting in an account in the Cayman Islands and you stiff some poor kid 6 grand so they can't pay their rent. Can you imagine? And nobody can find him, right? Jesus, if I knew where he was, I'd hang him upside down off a balcony until he coughed up the dough. Little bastard. Yeah, these are the kind of people that you're trading against, right? They are not nice people. If you're long, you want your stop at 28. You know there's going to be sellers at 35. So be quick on your feet if you're buying the counter move to this. Okay? Yep. And that's why you should come into the trading syndicate. We'll teach you how to protect yourself against these vultures who steal your money, right? We get you in, we get you out, we get you paid. See, look at that. Did you see how they slammed it down? And that's why I said you need to be selling the 35s because these guys are just waiting for you to come up and they slam it, right? Because they sell, sell, sell. Then they let it breathe. The algo lets it breathe. And everyone's like, oh, it's going to go to 40, right? And they go along here. Instead of selling 33, 34, 35, they go long there. And these bastards are just waiting at the top of that candle and kaboom, right? So all of this stuff, it sounds like fiction, but you'll see how quickly you can lose money in this business if you're not quick on your feet. Yeah, that's true. Raj, you're right. The gap above us from Friday did not fill, right? That's a very, very good thing to remind me of. Thank you. Right, we have not filled that Friday gap. Yeah, you'd be surprised at the people who are in this business. There's some nice people, but not very many. My old partner who robbed us blind. I read about 5 years ago he actually stole somebody's house. I mean, the other guy was a criminal. He put his house in the guy's name to avoid paying the SEC, and this guy just kept the house, kept a $6 million house, right? uh, Ruthless. How do you steal a house? Well, he figured it out. I wish I was making this stuff up. All right, what's our next trade, folks? What are we looking at? What do you think is going to happen? Back and forth between 25 and 47? Let's see if we get that seller at 47 again, if we can creep back up. It's a little choppy for me here. Oh yeah, I'd Suge Knight this guy's ass, man. I'd hang him above a balcony to get that poor kid's money back. It's worth it. Yeah, these people, crazy. Okay. Oh, it's 10 after. Right. You notice it kind of always kind of slows down 10 after, 10 after 10. In the UK, 10 after 3. It's almost like the algorithms have gone on a smoke break, right? So now let's see what the next order of business is. I would sell before that level, Mike. I like to front run, right? So if I know that there's a seller at 45, I'll sell 44, right? If I know there's a seller at 44, I'll sell 43. See, we were trained to always be sneaky, right? We were trained to be sneaky. We were always trained to never tell the truth, right? And always like, if you know someone's a seller at 45, you'll go 43, 44, right? I've noticed in the last 3 weeks, Matt, that there has been a little bit of an aggressive element in the market here and there, right? All of a sudden you'll get like a big rip or a big slam down candle. It's not constant. It just kind of comes out of the blue. But I've noticed that. And it's just when people are just starting to feel comfy, right? Just when you start feeling comfortable, that's when they got you, right? That's why I love scalping, because scalping, you're in and out. And okay, there's that 47 seller, right? There we are, right? Now let's see, can we get above that, or do we rotate back down into the 40s? Are the new shorts trapped? Yeah, generally, if you get a liquidation move down, first the shorts are trapped down here, then here. We went up and we came right back here. They're trapped again there. But I think what's going to happen, I'm not sure if this is, I think we're just going to do this for a little bit. Just back and forth. See ya, Hacks. Have a good one. Oh, you're in London. Cool. Yeah, I'm in. I love saying this because it drives Raj crazy because he's a Manchester United fan. But I'm in the greatest city in the UK, Liverpool. I just always say that because I know people get tilted when I say it. There he is, right? Yeah, but I truly I love Liverpool. Scouse people, they're like they treat me like family, man. Wonderful, wonderful people here. London's a very cool city, but it's very cold. You're a Man United season ticket holder. Well, then you and Raj, you come into our room, our gardens. You and Raj will be best friends. I don't get the whole soccer team thing, but you know, I'm more, you know, Pittsburgh Steelers, Oakland Raiders back when they were in Oakland. Yeah. See, this is that chop, just back and forth. So now, if you haven't taken any trades, like we were lucky, we had a couple of good opportunities in glowbacks and then off the open. That look below and fail of 74.18 was nice. So right now, well, because I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning in the UK, so it's 3 o'clock here, 3:30, 3:15. If you're stateside, right, and you don't quite get, if you're not tuned in yet, wait for your edge, right? Just wait for your edge. I don't like trading in the middle of these zones. Yeah, what I mean by cold mat is not very friendly. And that's not on purpose. I think it's just that people in the city are very, very busy, right? And getting around London is tough. In London you gotta be like one of those rich guys with the Bentley and the chauffeur. But if you don't have that, you're just a regular schmuck taking the subway. It's a bit rough. It's expensive. Liverpool's a little cheaper, easier to get around. Yeah, that 47 seller's still there, right? Still there. But I mean, if you got a lot of dough, London's cool. I mean, you'd be like the old guy with a chauffeur, you know? Okay, what's next? So right now I don't have a trade that I'm looking at. So I'm starting to, the thing with me too, because I'm up so early and it's like 3:30 now. By about 3, 4 o'clock, I mean 4, 5 o'clock, I start losing my concentration. So what I'll do is, after I'm off with you guys, after I, get off the Zoom or the YouTube here, I'll go for a walk, get some air, go do some exercise, get some oxygen to the brain, then come back, right? And then see if I can pick a trade. If I can't, then I'm done for the day, right? Why did I move to England? Because I met my girlfriend, she was there, and I did not want to subject her to Saskatchewan, where I was living at the time. So, I really love the UK. It's a great experience visiting this country. The people have been very, very nice to me and very welcoming. So, then you can go to Spain for like $30. It's amazing, you know. I'm doing a lot of traveling in my old age because, I never took a holiday from 1995 to 2021. Well, other than when I had my quintuple bypass. So, it's nice to get out and see Europe. A lot of beautiful spots. Now, can we get over 47? Is that seller going to let this thing breathe? So I think if we can't take out the 47, 48 level, we'll start, the people who are long between 40 and 47, they're going to get a little antsy. They're going to get, they're going to be like a quarterback in the pocket. They're going to get happy feet. Here we go. Let's see. Come on. Can we tickle the 48s? Mm. They're selling. They're not aggressive, but they're selling there. You see that gets kind of hung up around 47 and a quarter? Let's see if we can get a 48 and a half print. No, not just yet. Maybe. Come on. Come on. You can do it. And what do I mean by print? I mean a trade at 48 and a half. And still, see, there's that 47. Right? They're still there. Now, this market has a very annoying habit of looking slow, and you start thinking about a short, and it just keeps creeping higher and higher and higher. But the nice thing about looking at charts this way, you don't have to worry about patterns or anything like that. They sold here, right? So you anticipate that they're going to sell there, and they have been. See? They let it go up and over for a few minutes, but right back down. Why would the seller stay at 47 and not move up? Because there's more than one of them. That's a great question, Sticky. Right? If you're selling 47 and I'm selling 47, why would I go to 48 and let you take my customer? There you go, right? So if you join me at 47, I'll go 46 and 3/4. If you go to 46 and I'll half, I'll go 46 and 4 1/4, right? We'll undercut each other. And that's what we mean by selling competition. And you'll see the top of every 1 minute candle get lower and lower and lower the more that happens. And that's when you want to short, right? See you, Mike. Have a good one, brother. Hey, hola Juan. ¿Qué pasa? Right? See, that's the thing. Now we've got a guy in our room, Badir. He's building this software that helps you guys understand what it's like to sell size and have competition. Hey, hola, Santiago. ¿Qué pasó? I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm addicted to Spain right now. San Sebastian, Alicante, amazing places. See how they're lowering the offer? And remember what I said. The people who are long between 40 and 47, now they're not happy, right? I mean, if you were long 44, you'd be a little pissed right now at 36, right? So they're all starting to sell off, and that's why we're going to see if we can take out the 36s, the 35s. So if you're a scalper, right? Yeah, no. And why would they, right? Right? AO, you got to if you're a seller, you've got inventory. You got to turn that inventory into cash. Even if you have to sell it a little bit of a loss, right? Because you can't sit on inventory. It goes bad, like rotten fruit. So had you shorted, like a good way to trade this, and this is what I mean by me not being concentrated and dialed in. If you're selling the 44s, you put your stop there because that's where your seller is, right? That's where your backup is, right? You, and what you do is you sell alongside with that seller, and then you put buy orders down where you think they'll stop selling. And if those buy orders don't get filled, then you just go grab the offer, right? What is different than saying price stability brings buying? Price stability brings buying, but you've got to give people hope of higher prices by raising the offer, right? So if you were long a position between 40 and 44, and you weren't selling 46, 47, you were waiting for 50, that's different, right? And in these markets, when you see a seller at some level, it's going to take time to clean those sellers out. So like my old boss he used to always say, JJ, if you can't take it higher, take it lower, flush all the bastards out, trap some shorts, and then rip it, right? Now that doesn't happen with humans anymore, but the algos are programmed to do the same thing a human trader would do. The business itself doesn't change, but the computers and the algorithms, what they've done is they've taken what humans do naturally, the business, and they just make it much more efficient. Faster, efficient, right? Just like, you know, those automatic transmissions can now shift gears. You know, in the time it takes a blink of an eye, your eye, it can shift the gears 2, 3 times. The same thing with algos. It's the delivery of the product, just like having robots in factories. Everything is so much more efficient. You know, so ever since algo trading started getting really, really dialed in, 2016, 2017, at first they were rough. Now the algos are very, very tuned in, dialed in, so sophisticated. They have, they have some really smart people writing these programs. And I'm sure now with AI, this stuff teaches itself, right? So for us, all of that really just means that we just really have to be picky about where we do business, right? This week, I think I've got my voice back. I don't sound like Brando anymore in The Godfather. So Wednesday, tentatively, we're going to do a webinar, right? Remember before I got sick, we were going to do that, you know, webinar, The Devil's in the Details. We're going to try and do that this Wednesday, right? We'll do that at 11. And my coaching students who haven't reached out, please reach out. Schedule some sessions. Because I think I've got my voice back. It's way better. I mean, in April it sounded like I had a stroke, for God's sakes. Sounded like I had cotton balls in my mouth. So had some weird infection that grabbed my voice. Just brutal. Anywho, thanks for being with us. Come check out the trading room. I mean, we only charge it's like $9 now or $19. It's cheap. You can enter the trading competitions for $10 and win a couple $100. We had people who win 900, 300, couple hundred here and there. If you win $900, it pays for the room for 2 years, right? So that's number one. The other thing is we'll teach you how to trade in a simple way that's practical. We take all of the complicated stuff that people love talking about and we just get rid of that and we show you a nice clear path to making some money. And we'll also teach you how to keep it. Now as we liquidate down, I'm curious. Do you think 74.30 bids again? Right? Yeah, even $50 buys a couple of valuations with all the sales, right? You know what, Elsie? I'd love to see the overnight low get tested, right? Yeah, I always, and the 73.91, right? We tested it. We got the position from the overnight is underneath 73.91. But I'd love to see it tested in regular trading hours and see if it can actually take a punch, right? But a little slow here. Thank you everyone for being with us. We appreciate you guys. And we will do everything we can to get you profitable and keep you profitable. And keep you from losing your hair. Right? Thanks everyone. Stay out of trouble. If you need me, I'll be back in about an hour. And always remember, don't take candy from strange market makers, okay?